Hello, this is Abhikaran Singh. Today I'll talk about blog post 1 or technical presentation 1. My topic for today is cyber terrorism. Uh, Next, introduction to cyber terrorism. As everyone know, cyber terrorism is what? Uh, with general concerns, cyber terrorism and common use of this term is very much in today's era. It brings many global organizations to make many attempts to fight this threat. As everyone knows, cyber terrorism, it is an international crime uh, which rules locally. Local rules are unable to protect against these types of attacks. They need to they need to be transnational reactions. There need to be transnational reactions. Moreover, I searched online and witnessed that according to FBI, cyber terrorism is what? It is a premeditated and politically motivated attack against information, computer system, programs and data, which results in people's violence against people's different stuff like personal information by some subnational groups. The threat posed by this attack has grabbed the attention of whole mass media nowadays. As with the increase in technology, cyber terrorism is also increasing day by day. In today's era, cyber attacks are at alarming rate, as I told earlier. Several studies lump everything together from Defense Secretary, that is Leon Panetta's past arguments that the threat group might start the digital Pearl Harbor to hacktivism, WikiLeaks, or credit card leaks. These are mainly happening nowadays. The manufacturing sector shows particularly cyber security challenges because of specific nature of operating engineering and business power systems, which consist of networked machines, sensors, information, and software. Manufacturing firms particularly are susceptible to threats including destruction of transaction, modification of information, some product patterns, or theft of intellectual properties. Next, I'll talk about type of hackers. There are various types of hackers, mainly black hat, white hat, and gray hat. But I'll talk about different types that are black hat, white hat. What is black hat? Black hat is commonly those hackers that break into computer system with malicious intent in that. These are those hackers which people think of when picturing a cyber attacker, a cyber terrorist. Next is hat. White hat hackers are those hackers which work for government and helps to resolve different issues and make systems safer and more resilient. Next are gray hat. Gray hat hackers are those hackers who find different ways to hack into computer networks and systems but without any malicious intent, or likewise black hat hackers. The next is script kiddies. What are script kiddies? Script kiddies are amateur hackers and they do not have same level as skills as compared to advanced hackers in this field. Next is green hat. What is green hat? Green hat hackers are newbies in this in the world of hacking, and they want to know more about cyber attacking skills. Next, blue hat. Blue hat hackers are hired by different organizations to check bugs in new softwares that are developed by their organization. Next, it is red hat. Red hat hackers are those hackers which are hired by government agencies to check vulnerabilities in security systems. Next, I'll talk about state or nation sponsored hackers. State nation sponsored hackers are those hackers whose motive is to prevent and monitor international threats. Malicious insiders are those hackers who expose and exploit organizations' confidential information. Elite hackers are those hackers who perform various advanced internet attacks on different organizations and individuals to get more to hack their system. Next, hacktivists are those hackers who shed light on different alarming social and political causes to make political statements. Cryptojackers are those hackers who mainly whose motive is to hack or mine into cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, CRO, and many more. Gaming hackers are a simple word. They are the hackers who hack games, different kinds of games. The next is cryptojackers. Cryptojackers' motive is also same. They also hack and mine cryptocurrency currencies. Next are botnets. Botnets are those hackers whose motive is to compromise high volume of network systems. Next, I'll talk about types of cyber attacks. There are many kinds of cyber attacks like man-in-the-middle attack, drive-by attacks, social engineering attacks, malware attacks, password, DDoS, DOS, botnets, SQL injection. Now I'll elaborate these types of attacks. First is man-in-the-middle attack. What is man-in-the-middle attack? It is an attack that carries different types of cyber attacks through different ways. It may include hijacking, IP spoofing, active eavesdropping. This is its common solutions are like encryption, tamper detection, authentication of digital certificates. Next is phishing and spear phishing attack. This kind of attack is where cyber attackers send fraud emails to people with clickable links. When they open these kinds of links, their system hacks, and if they put their card information and their card is stolen. Moreover, these these are of like three types phishing attacks that are whaling, uh, farming, and spear phishing. What is spear phishing? Spear phishing is nothing. It is those types of attack who the attackers who target direct at specific companies or individual. Whaling is an attack who targets senior executives or stakeholders of within an organization. Farming is used to capture users' credentials through a fake login. Uh, Next, I'll talk about is drive-by attack. Drive-by attack is what? Drive-by attack are those attacks which are used to spread malware in the system. They target insecure websites. Once they find a potential victims, they inject different malicious scripts into HTTP or PHP codes of website pages. Next is botnet attacks. Botnet attacks are a collection of system networks with which they injected malwares. These are mainly mainly use in infected systems with malware to carry out like DDoS attacks. Social engineering attacks. Social engineering attacks are used to access personal data of the victims. They are also used to attack for like hijacking accounts, character or personal identity of a person, or to perform like unauthenticated payments. SQL injection. SQL injection is a kind of attack that happens when cyber terrorist injects malicious code in an SQL server. Next is malware attack. Malware attack is nothing. This is a different types of cyber attacks that can be used malicious softwares to put in computer. It may include different like viruses. Their most common types are viruses, trojans, worms, like ransomware, spyware. and many more. Next is cross-site scripting attack. Cross-site scripting attack is a type of cyber attack which makes use of third-party website to inject malicious like JavaScripts into the target's web browser. Next is password attacks. Password attacks, it is a simple password attacks. These are the attacks that are on password of different users. These have several forms like the brute force, the dictionary attack, and keylogger attacks. DOS attacks. DOS attacks is like denial of service attack. It is one of most widespread types of cyber attack, which is done by making a resource unavailable to the users. DDoS attack is same as denial of service attack. These both attacks are used to session hijacking, TCP sync flood attacks, T-drop attacks like Smurf attack, ping of death attack, and botnets. Cryptojacking, it is same. This attack targets the bandwidth of users' computer processing power. The inside and attack and data breach. This occurs through different activities of disgruntled employees. Next, crypto mining, malware attacks. These kinds of attacks are same as cryptojacking attacks, but it exchanges and hijacks their computers' processing powers as well. Eavesdropping attack. It occurs when attacker intercepts users' network traffic. This attack access users' information and other personal information. Next is targets of cyber terrorism. Computer network and information system. There are different targets of cyber terrorists, like they mainly targets computer networks or the computer system. Next can be computer infrastructure, personal information of person, any kind of devices that are connected to internet. They can access or hack the internet access and can access any of the devices that are connected to that internet. They can attack to data centers. Online banking is the common example nowadays that they are targeting. Next is categories of cyber terrorism. Categories, there are 5 categories, that is incursion, destruction, disinformation, denial of service, defacement of website. Destruction, as everyone know, it destroys people's personal information by hacking every stuff in the computer. Disinformation is also denial of service. I've already explained earlier. Denial of service is what? It is a kind of attack that occurs when many compromised network devices all over the world flood the bandwidth of the target system. Moreover, DOS attacks can easily be spotted with help of analytic tools. Next, I'll talk about features of cyber terrorism. As you know, there are different features of cyber terrorism, like minimal resources requires. If a person want to learn more about cyber terrorism, the resources required for cyber terrorism are very limited. Anonymity. Cyber attackers use different nicknames or login information, log in with different guest accounts, which makes organizations or other agencies to find them very easily, to find them very hard. Next is no barriers. No barriers means that they can perform activities from anywhere from the world. Enormous means like they have variety of targets to which they can target, like they can target to personal data of person, or they can target different government agencies or computer information of the person. Boundaryless, they can easily use different locations at one time to confuse agencies, and this can be like DDoS attacks or DOS attacks. Wider effect have a lot of potential which directly affects a large number of terrorists. It generates greater media coverages, greater potential. They have great potential to attack different stuffs like banking, water supply systems, power systems, and many more. Next, more efficient. More efficient, it requires few people and few inputs. Furthermore, it can be accessed remotely as well nowadays. Next, I'll talk about some past incidents. First is teen hacks, NASA and Defense Department. Here, it was an incident which occurred in the year 1999. This cyber attack caused 21 days shutdown of NASA computers. Hacker was none other than James. James, like his full name was Jonathan James, who's only 15 years old, and earlier he also penetrated in US Department of Defense Division computers and installed a backdoor on its server, which allowed him to intercept more than 1,000 government emails, including usernames and password of different employees, which that led him to steal some information of NASA software. And after that, he cracked the NASA computers that support international space system. It almost cost like $41,000 loss to agency, as all the systems were shut down for more than 3 weeks. And this was the first person to carry computer attack against American Space Agency. Next, I'll talk about is Malaysia virus. This virus was introduced in March 1999. It was spread through MS Word and Outlook based systems, and it creates considerably network traffics in that. Malaysia virus infects like emails, infected computer via emails. Those emails look like very confidential, but they were fake. If a recipient opens the attachment, then and download the doc, and afterwards open it in Microsoft Word, then the virus was released on their computers or phones, and first 50 people in victims contact list. And moreover, it disables disables every safeguard features on MS Word and Outlook as well. Next attack I'll talk about is solar sunrise attack. This attack was originally it was also in 1998. Originally thought it was being efforts of Iraqi operatives who were a systematic cyber attack was launched in US, which seized control of over 500 government and private computer systems. The hackers were exploiting computers running on Sun Solaris operating system. Hence, collective attacks were called Solar Sunrise. The US government also assembled a number of defense divisions, including FBI, Defense Information System agencies, to investigate the matter. While it was case closed for Solar Sunrise, the attacks highlighted how a coordinated effort could affect an entire country's IT infrastructure. Next I'll talk about is phone lines blocked to win Porsche. Kevin Poulsen was famous for his work in hacking into Los Angeles LA's phone system in a bid to win a Ferrari on a road competition. LAFM was offering a Porsche to 100th caller. The person guaranteed his success as he took control of the phone network and effectively blocked incoming calls to the radio station's numbers. He won the push, but afterwards the law caught him up and he was sentenced to 5 years in prison. He later became the senior editor for IT security publication, I think so. It was Wired News. Next, I'll talk about 2007 cyber attacks on Estonia. Uh, as I already told, it was attack occurred in 2007. A series of hacking attacks were made, and it happened when the government of Estonia decided to move bronze soldier from Tallinn center to less prominent military cemetery located in city outskirts. Internet traffic took down online bank services, media outlets, broadcasters, and government bodies as well. When researchers researched that the network shows DDoS attacks. Next, I'll talk about is Ukraine power grid cyber attack. This attack was occurred in the year of 2015. This is also known as first victorious cyber attack on power grid. In this attack, several parts of Ukraine witnessed power outage, and that was not any typical blackout, but it was indeed a result of cyber attack. Information systems of three different energy distribution companies were also compromised. Total 30 substations were switched off, and more than 200,000 people were left in dark for almost 1 to 6 hours. Next, I'll talk about symptoms if a person is under cyber attack. There are various symptoms, but the main are like if a person is there is increase in pop-ups in your web browser, if the system crashes, or after some time, if there are too many unknown contents in messages or WhatsApp, if you get a lot of malicious links or attachments in your system, if your device software is running in erratic way. There are more. Next, I'll talk about who are behind these kinds of attacks. There are two types, like outsider threats and insider threats. Outsider threats are those types of threats which include different organized criminals or some groups, professional hackers, amateur hackers, and many more. Insider threats. These threats include different people who have authorized and access to different companies' assets. These may include the employees who are careless of their security procedures, policies, and business partners that have system access. As you can see in this picture, why hackers hack? Their motive behind is to like global studies of large organizations that were victims to a cyber attack are like ransom, insider threats, political competitions, cyber war, angry users, or motive. 11% of them are like they have no motive. Motives are unknown. Next, I'll talk about is how to prevent a cyber attack. To prevent a cyber attack, one must update his or her software. By updating a software, it will help to make your system up to date, which will not bring any different viruses in your system. Next, develop cybersecurity, like develop different antiviruses in your system, which will help to make your system work perfectly. Next, install some like spam filters and anti-malware software, which will prevent from any malware of spam emails in your system as well. Implementing CM. Next, like deploying intrusion detection and prevent softwares. creating DLP programs, and many more can prevent these kinds of attacks. Next, conclusion. Uh, conclusion. Cyberterrorism is a growing concern in today's society. According to Dr. Edward Maggio in his article, cyberterrorism in the past minutes have been approximately increased to like 54,000 serious computer attacks, which are reported to hackerwatch.org. Moreover, businesses and policymakers, as well as us, like individual, needs to work to find a solution to not only combating these kinds of to prevent these kinds of problems in the future. I'll talk more about cyber terrorism. As everyone knows that everyone nowadays are not a victim of cyber terrorism, but still they are at great risk. In changing era, people are becoming more techy, and because of that, uh, as we can take a result, a COVID-19 pandemic, people are at their homes, and as you can see the graph, uh, the list of hackers has been increased by 1000 to 4000. This is the result. If people are having no work, uh, they are becoming techy, and they find different ways to steal information, personal information of different people. Hacker identify can verify from like 15 years to 70 years nowadays. With change in world, um, people do not need to rob banks or anything, uh, as everything is going online, which leads them to hack into online banking accounts and other information which can easily be hacked if person gives his or her information while opening malicious links. As many antiviruses are also installed that helps to stop from hijacking, but as said, anything is not yet 100% pure, 100% like correct. So there are some backdoors that can only be hacked by professional hackers. So one must install have different ways, like preventional ways that can help people, to make their systems more secure. Like they can install SIEM, that is Security Information and Evade, implement SIEM. SIEM is what? SIEM is a Security Information and Event Management solution which supports threat detection, compliance, and security incident management through the collection and analysis. And they can also install like IDS and IPS. IDS is intrusion detection, and IPS is prevent intrusion prevent software. Thank you, and these are my references for images. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. This was my blog post 1 and technical presentation 1.